Welcome back to another edition of the Course Creation Incubator. I'm Gina Anativia, your host, your bulldog, here to cheer you on to get your course done and out to market. And the question that you and I are answering today is, does your course need to be entirely done in order to launch? The answer is no. Now go get your course done. Mic drop. All right, seriously, we're going to dive into that today because I know a lot of fear can come up with a course that isn't done yet. You can't put out a half-finished course. I can't put out a program that only has a few modules in it. Well, I'm here to tell you that I actually think it's a great way to put out a course when it's not entirely done, that you might be in a better spot than you think. We're going to take a deeper dive into this because you're going to launch with a partially done course, perhaps, and you're going to love it for a few reasons. I'm just getting back from an event where I was talking with some other business owners about course creation, and in our conversation, some of these fears came up. From I don't know if I want to be in the spotlight to who am I to charge this much for a course? And I get all these fears because we all go through it. And that's part of the reason why I love the 6-week accelerator, because you're not going through this process alone. You're surrounded by a really supportive community that will cheer you on and help you every step of the way. Now, if you're thinking that this is your year to get your course done, to build out that program that you've always dreamed of, I would love to work with you as part of the 6-week accelerator. As part of the program, every week we meet twice. First, I teach a critical step in your course creation journey. For example, I would teach you how to do my post-it exercise in order for you to outline your course without all of the overwhelm and the fuss. Then in our second session for that week, I check your homework. I go through every individual course creator's homework and give you feedback. And you can also ask me questions to make sure you're making great progress each and every week. I want to make sure you're moving forward with confidence and not second guessing every action you're taking with your course. So you get me twice a week during these classes, plus a community where I'm very active. I'm in there every day, multiple times a day, answering questions in the moment. That first week, we're working through your post-it exercise process. Then in your second week, we get into scripting, and I've got a simple formula for that you can plug and play. Then in the third week, we talk about our offers and your messaging, and we do a simple sales page. And I have Megan O'Leary on, who is an incredible copywriter. If you've been listening to the podcast, I've had Megan on here twice because she's an absolute genius. This is one of the highlights of the 6-week accelerator because you get to ask Megan questions about your messaging, about your positioning, about how you want to speak to your potential student. Then in the fourth week, we're talking about selling. And I like to introduce at least 3 ways for you to sell. Some of them a little bit more grassroots because not all of us are ready to put out a big campaign. Then in the 5th week, we're talking about recording and editing. And I've got my friend Chris Holloway on from Infrastructure Productions. Chris is my work husband. He also has been on the podcast, is amazing about filming and editing and breaking it down for us in a really easy to understand way. Then in the 6th week, we're talking tech, and we're talking about bringing the customer journey experience all together. Now, this is the last time I'll be teaching the classes live, so you don't want to miss out on that experience. Enroll at coursecreationboutique.com/6 weeks. I'll put that in the show notes. I'm only taking a small group, 15 to 20 people, super small, so I can really focus on you and getting your course out to market. Now, with the 6-week accelerator, you may very well get to the end of the 6 weeks and you might launch without your course entirely done. Now, there's a reason why I love this so much, why this might be a really great strategy for you. Reason number 1 is I want you to test out your offer. This is a great way to do it because you might make adjustments depending on how well you sell. So say the course isn't completely done and you sell it and you wanted 12 to 15 spots, but you sold 7. Maybe that course becomes a group coaching offer. You change up the structure of it overall based on how many you've actually sold. You may decide to go live once a week and teach it that way instead of building out all these videos in advance. You can change it up. You can change up the delivery based on how much you sold. So that's a great reason to do it, to test out that offer, number 1. The second reason is you might alter the, say, bonus structure or your offer structure of your course. You may decide to cut out bonuses. Or you might say, I'm going to do 5 weeks instead of 4 because I just realized I needed to add an extra week. Maybe there's a timing issue. You have a group that wants to come in and do it, but they can't do it for another week or 2. Or maybe you have a group that's coming in early and you want to add a week for them. So by not having your course completely done, you have the flexibility to change it up on the fly. Let's talk about bonuses for a second. A lot of times I see first-time course creators out of the gate with way too many bonuses. We want to under-promise and over-deliver. Well, I like to see a starter course with, say, 2 or 3 great bonuses, but a lot of times I see course creators with 4, 5, 6 bonuses and really working hard and overdoing it because they feel like they have to, because they're out of the gate and they want to deliver their expertise in a really great way. I would rather you focus on 2 or 3 bonuses that really take on objections. And I've got a podcast on this that I can link to. I would rather you take on objections and deliver some value versus trying to throw out random different bonuses just to have a greater quantity. So keep that in mind also. And that's why I like when your course isn't completely done, it allows you to test out things like the different bonuses. All right, here's a third reason why maybe you want to go to market without your course completely done is you may change up the actual content. I remember the first time I went live with a 6-week accelerator, I had a rough idea of what I wanted to teach. I knew I was going to teach it live. I had an outline of where I wanted to go. Now, I originally had week 1 was the post-it exercise, which was great. And then there was pre-work validation in there also, which is also in the course to this day. And then week 2, I wanted my folks the first time out to get to the offer right away. So week 2 was the offer, week 3 scripting, and so on. And then I quickly realized after doing that first live 6-week accelerator that wasn't the right order. That even though I wanted them to think about the offer and the marketing right away, they had to get to scripting pretty quickly because it is an intensive part of putting together your course. So I made those adjustments, and I wouldn't have known that unless I went to a market without a completely figured out course. It was okay. I learned my lesson for the next time. The students still got across the finish line. They still got an incredible transformation and experience. I just took a note. That's something I wanted to change up for next time I saw the improvement. Hopefully I've convinced you that your course doesn't need to be entirely done. And by the way, with the 6-week accelerator, most students don't have their course entirely dialed in before they launch. They tend to go live with their course or maybe have half the course done and then launch. All right, let's talk about the components that you really need because here I am yapping about you not needing to have a complete course. Well, what do you need to go to market with then? First, you need an outline. So I looked at the 6-week accelerator. I knew it was going to be 6 weeks. I had a rough idea of the different components because I have a 5-phase process of course creation to build it. And then I threw in a selling week because I knew people wanted it. I knew they needed it. So I had a rough idea of a framework. And then I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to do in the first lesson, my post-it exercise, because I've been teaching it with my Done For You clients for years. I also had my Zoom set up. I had my welcome experience dialed in, which means my confirmation email, access to the actual site, the community, and next steps, because I wanted people to opt in, to enroll, to buy, and know where to go from there, know how to immediately get started and get going on their course and really build momentum into that first call. So I wanted to make sure all these pieces are aligned along with my marketing, and that's all you need to get started so you can fill in the gaps as you go. So just know that these are simple things that you need to set up and then having the framework. And by the way, we talk about that in week 6, that welcome journey, the emails, the welcome experience, making sure the site is set up, things like that. Now, some go to market with a complete course, and that's okay. The idea is not let your incomplete course hold you back, because course creators do this all the time. I see it every day. And if you keep holding back because your course isn't complete, you're holding back from helping those who really need your course, who really need your help. All of this is to say you can absolutely launch with an incomplete course. So for those of you who are going live or to market with an incomplete course, it can be a workshop. It can be a hybrid in terms of part started course, part live workshop. The point is it's not done, and there's beauty in it not being done. There's magic in it if you embrace it. I want you to embrace the discomfort. I was reading a story in the New York Times the other day about kids today need to be challenged. And that this school, at this particular school, they say, I'm in the learning pit when they're trying to figure things out. I want you to embrace the discomfort. There was a story in the New York Times the other day about how kids today need to be challenged. And that in this particular school that they were talking to, they said they were in the learning pit when they felt discomfort, when they couldn't come up with the right answer. And guys, I want you in the learning pit, all right? Because that's how breakthroughs happen, all right? So the struggle is real, but you will get through it onto the other side, beyond the learning pit. And I would love for you to do it with me as part of the 6-week accelerator. All right, one final note of this podcast. Sometimes people say, I need to get that larger course done, Gina. I need that sense of completion. I'm here to tell you, forget about the signature course for now. If you're getting stuck, if you feel like you've been with an incomplete course for way too long, the starter course is the way to go. The beauty of the starter course is that you can say, here it is, 10 lessons. I'm going to get it going. I'm going to get it out there. If you're a completion person, scale back. Get that focus course, that starter course done, start selling. Because the whole idea is to get you to market, to test it, and to see what's really working and what's not. And you can't do that unless you put your course to market. All right, let's wrap this up. I think you guys know what I'm trying to say here. Let's get your course to market. Let's welcome your students through the door. Reap the benefits of having an online course. Build your business. Really get yourself out there. I would love to be your coach. One last shameless plug for CourseCreationBoutique.com/6 weeks for my 6-week accelerator. The time is now. I would love to work with you. Until next week, go create, be you and be brilliant, and get it done.